going to have a webinar today about roadmaps, digital curricula. We call it deeply digital curricula. We have been focusing on K-5, we being the Center for Digital Curricula, and you'll see a little bit more about it. But we have a tool called the Collaborify Roadmap Platform, in which we create these deeply digital curricula. It is free, and we're going to show you curricula using the Collaborify Roadmap Platform, and that you might decide that's just a platform that you might want to use to cast your materials into. And then you could have these things called roadmaps, which you'll see. The beauty of the roadmaps are, well, there's two things. One, it makes learning at school and learning at home seamless. So whether we don't know where you're going to be, right? You don't really know, but the digital roadmaps will let you go back and forth. Also, everything is in one place. It's just that the URLs and no. It's all in one roadmap. The parents love it. The kids love it. We hope you'll love it. So I think that's sort of the goal today, is to take a look at this thing called the Collaborify Roadmap Platform. Also, the word collaborify, we mean it. It's collaborify. So teachers can work together, kids can work together. There's a little phone icon, and you can actually talk to each other through the computer. And or you can just work together, like in a Google Doc, how you can work together. Well, you can work together in a roadmap, collaborify. But it's usually better if you just start talking to each other and then working together. Okay, so here we go. Just a question, how many of you have gone through the first roadmap in the PD series, and you went through a couple of nodes? Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Okay, excellent. Okay, if you haven't, okay, you'll see it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to walk through it together. Okay. I'm going to introduce my team. It'll take a few minutes, but we'll keep it short. But I think you need to hear the stories about how we came to be, how we came. I am Elliot Soloway. I'm co-director of the Center for Digital Curricula. We're in the College of Engineering. We are good friends with the School of Ed. I'm a techie, but I have a good colleague for, she's not here, so I can say, more than 30 years. And she's a teacher. And I've learned that there's a difference between the word content and the word curricula. If you're not an educator, you don't know. It's just stuff. No, I've learned it. So we created these tools. We had funding from the George Lucas Foundation because we were working with colleagues at Michigan State University on NGSS science, next generation science standards. And there is actually middle school NGSS if you're interested in using NGSS materials. So we have the tools, we have curricula, and let me now introduce my team. I'm just going to go across the rows. Billy, you're first. Who's got new web today?
Yeah, I upped my bandwidth. So yeah, my name is Billy Freeland, and I teach K-5 STEM this past year. That's a new position for me in Kent City. We're a small rural district north of Grand Rapids. I have taught 6th grade science in the middle school format, so I know what life is like getting a new bunch of kids every hour. But that's how I got introduced to roadmaps, was using it with the STEM science program K-5 this year.
Thank you, Billy. Ann.
Hello, I'm Ann Tapp, Professor of Teacher Education at Saginaw Valley State University, and I taught in Davison at the elementary level for 10 years, just north of you. It's really nice to see you all. Goodrich is such a great district. I've always respected Goodrich. I used roadmaps with my teacher education students with a spring course, and they all fell in love with it. They were supported by this wonderful team, and they created their own roadmap, and they are going to continue using it this year in their school districts. It's amazing. Wait do you see it.
Thank you, Ann. Nicole.
Hello, my name is Nicole Andries. Billy Freeland, who you met first, is my teacher partner. We piloted roadmaps with our 3-5 students in the fall, and when COVID hit, and we were forced to go at home. Billy and I taught our other 3 specials, our music, art, and PE teacher, how to use the platform, and we sent 1 roadmap, 1 link to all 600 of our kiddos K5. And we had all of our kids using it for 7 weeks of at-home learning, and it was fantastic. And so I really hope you enjoy it as well.
Thank you, Nicole. Wendy, you're muted.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Awesome to be here with you. I'm a 2nd grade teacher. Well, now going to be 3rd. I work in Niles, Michigan, which is, you know, map. I joined Roadmaps in March. You know, we had the whole March the 13th thing, Friday the 13th with full moon. You know, it was a really bad omen, wasn't it? And so I was looking out for platforms. I found, well, my husband found the center here, and I went for I did a Google Meet on the Thursday. I think it was the make and take on the Friday. On the Monday, I had something running out for my kids. I had 100% participation from my kids using the roadmaps. It's phenomenal, and the team are just amazing. They're a great group of people, and they will answer questions, and they will work with you, and if you can't think of a solution, they will do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Liat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Liat Kopal. I'm originally a special education teacher from Israel. My role in the center is to support teachers that are using roadmaps in classrooms or at home right now. And I can't wait for you to see how wonderfully it can be adapted to all age levels and for different learners.
Thank you, Liat. Monique.
Hello, I'm Monique Kuhlman. I'm from Haas Elementary in Genesee, just up the road from you guys. And I got involved actually working with MSU Create for STEM with the MLPBL units. They were done on roadmaps, not as extensively as we have them done now, but they were just like pieces of it. And we started just adding and putting things together and creating curriculum, and here we are.
Thank you, Monique. Dawn.
Hi, Dawn Mahalik. I'm a 3rd grade teacher for Bay City Public Schools. I've been teaching for 25 years. And the great thing that Roadmaps did for me is it really got me excited and energized about teaching. And the second best thing that Roadmaps did for me is alleviated so much stress when schools closed. My kids already knew how to use Roadmaps, and it was so easy for me to just keep teaching and for them to keep learning, which wasn't really a common theme for most teachers.
Yes. Thank you, Dawn. I mean, it's seamless. That's really important. That's our sort of our word, seamless. So with that, I think I got everyone. Marla, do you want to sort of introduce your folks?
Yes, however, a semi just went by, so it sounds really loud. But so thank you for being here with us today for all of the U of M folks that are supporting the roadmaps, and also for all of our middle school staff. So our building is 6th through 8th grade. We have gym, our PE represented on here. We have some special education. We have content areas. So we have a nice variety of staff who volunteered their time to join in today. And we also, I think Donna is on here. Yep, Donna has played around a little bit with the roadmaps also and started building some things, right, Donna? So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Well done. Well, thank you.
And Karen was involved in a couple of the sessions that we that I had attended. She joined on with that session as well. So, and then I'm not sure if anybody else on here has been in to any of the roadmaps more in depth yet or not, but glad everyone's here.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's go. Monique, do you want to share your screen and start?
Sure. Here we go. Well, you don't want my calendar, but here we go. So this is the Professional Development Cohort 2 series. Here within this map, you have 4 individual maps. That's where the magic comes in, right? You can put multiple things in one place for students. I always think about this, you know, we always say that what we do, what's best for students. This is truly what's best for students. It's one URL. It is one place. Things don't get lost. All the materials are in here that they need. And I think that this is truly the way to go for students. They're sent a URL either on Google Classroom or email. And then that URL will bring them to, could be possibly every class that they have within one roadmap. That is a possibility. And that's where I really see it being a strong argument for roadmaps in a middle school setting, because that's when they're just a little bit, maybe they go through that whole stage of not being exactly responsible, many of them, and this kind of takes that away from them and puts in those supports that they need while they're going through those hormones. Yeah. Here we go. Why use roadmaps? And you've went through the first 3. You can see here also that this allows for different ways. You could set it up so that you have a synchronous session. You could set it up so that you have it interactive, so that there might be within here, there's questions that are embedded in the video. Or you could just do it independent where they're watching the video. And let's say the first time you go through it, it's going to be synchronous, but the other kids, you want to have them do it independently. You can simply click on the node, which these boxes and circles and diamond shapes are called nodes. And when you click on a node, a drawer opens up from the side. Notice this is a little different because this is the teacher version. You guys have been looking at the student version. So here, the instructions aren't all out there, but I can click on there and the instructions are in here. So the instructions you see are in this drawer, and you can type them in there. The instructions in a student format can be read to the student. So for any special education teachers, those students have that support built in. They click on that speaker, it reads it to them. Also, there's the option to change the style and the form of the shape, and changing the style and form of the shape can also, maybe, you know, science is always a green square, or purple is math. I mean, it just really can help them differentiate things also. And what did I tell you about the Apple Note? I think I got sidetracked. But the Apple Note will make it invisible to students. So let's say I don't want that interactive pathway being on there. All I have to do is put Apple Notes on those. And when I send out that roadmap, it's invisible to students. That way you can keep your keys to any assignments that you have in there, maybe the agenda, maybe a teacher's manual. All those things can be kept within that roadmap, one place for you, one place for the students, but you put the Apple badge on it, making it invisible to them. So we're gonna go, as you went through here, we set this up to kind of show how you could assign something to students, giving them things that they needed to do prior to coming into the meeting. And as they come into the meeting link is right here. You can add URLs or any kind of a meeting link within here simply by clicking on the URL and change the URL. So you could put your meeting code in here, click save, and then it's saved with that meeting URL in here. You can see this is the one that we use today. We put a driving question board in here, and we're not going to probably go through it a whole lot because we do only have 1 hour, but I wanted to show you the collaborative nature of a driving question board. When students are in this setting where they're not in contact with one another, this collaborative driving question board makes things nice because it allows for students to feel part of a community still, and they can see each other's questions that are being written. So today our question was going to be, how can we use Collaborify roadmaps to seamlessly transition from school to online learning? And when you click on launch activity, it takes you to a concept map. And this concept map, it explains, it says click plus, the drawer comes out on the left, and type your question in the drawer. And notice somebody is in there right now putting questions in. I can see there are 2 people there. So somebody's adding questions as we're speaking, and you could all be in there. I see somebody else just showed up. And as people are in the roadmap and they're typing questions, that is all at the same time, right? We can see this happening. We could sort out questions. One thing I really like about it is that it does not have it doesn't name the student. I guess if you needed the student named, you could put the initials or ask them to put the initials in. But I like the fact that they can ask a question without feeling, I don't know, kind of like on the spotlight. You know how that happens. Oh, look, somebody added a picture in there. Those are also things that can be added in here. And one great thing about the driving question board is if you answer this question, can I use my roadmaps next year? And I click on the comment part. Notice what happened when I started typing in that comment. It colored in. That means somebody has answered your question, and hopefully we can go back and check that it's been answered with evidence. Yes, you may use your roadmaps again, right? Every year. Roadmaps are set up so that you have them, right? After you've created them, they're yours. But you can make simple changes by changing out a URL or changing anything that needs to be changed, adding things that needed to be added, or deleting things that you didn't think went very well in the lesson without throwing the whole thing out. So that's why this is a really easy for teachers and students. Well, more for teachers at that point, not throwing things out, right? So going back to you could see that that is a collaborative work that we were doing, but we're gonna go back and Elliot wanted to highlight some materials that he felt were real necessary for you to see.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll share my screen.
They're
Now,
great examples.
There we go. Oh, there was that one. Yep. Go back. There we go. Go back. There we go. These are some examples of roadmaps from a little bigger that other teachers have been using, and I want to just go through a couple of the examples. I'm not going to go through everything, but just a couple. First, the notion: you click on a node, you get the instructions. This is our website for the Center for Digital Curricula, and I want to draw your attention to the visit classrooms. Now, these are younger kids, but nonetheless, the idea here is that you can use the roadmaps with a variety of pedagogies. This one at the top, every child has the roadmap on their Chromebooks. They could be different ones. They could be working collaboratively. They could be working solo. But this is more student-directed. Here is a more station-directed, and here's a more teacher-led directed, a teacher-led learning. And again, the roadmaps afford a range of pedagogies that can accommodate whatever style you want to do. I urge you to come here, take a look at it. We also have how-to videos, 1-minute quick videos on how to change a node, how to add a URL, how to do stuff. Come here and you can find the answer. And if you can't find it, we'll make another one. Okay. So I think I'm going to go. I want to show you Wendy's because it's interesting to see the little ones. And then we'll probably just stop right there, I think. So let me introduce Wendy Skinner. And I want to show you one in particular, just again to see about motivation, about how this impacts different kids. Wendy, could you talk a little about this little laddo?
Absolutely. So I'm second grade. My daughter's just finished middle school and just went through the whole process of using a platform and not knowing where she was. And I was checking on her, and the teachers were plugging things in, and then they lost them because they were editing things. And I just suggested roadmaps. So here is my little chap down here. He's not the most motivated of little chaps, right? So Mom goes downstairs. There he is on roadmaps with his brother, showing his brother how to work it. I mean, my second graders, I had 100% participation using roadmaps. My parents loved it. They looked at other platforms with their other kids, older kids, and they just said, you know, this was very sequential. My kids knew where they were, and that is so important. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go back here. Whoops, no, I wanted to go here. And close this up. You'll see a schedule coming up. Let's show you this one, because again, I like this, Wendy.
So, oh, you're killing me. All right. So this picture down here was of a very, very, very stressed Mrs. Skinner, not knowing what she was really doing. I mean, I'm not really a tech-savvy person, people. You know, I was asked to show roadmaps on a Google Meet, and I couldn't share the screen. I mean, I'm not tech-savvy. But saying that, I made all these things. Our curriculum, I was able to plug in curriculum really easy, PDFs, videos, and here's me telling the story of the week. And the kids loved it. They felt as if they were with me. And that was something that my daughter missed out on. She said, Mom, I just feel very isolated. I don't feel as if I'm with my classmates. And the classmates, to be quite honest, weren't really involved very much in when she went into classes. So this is so important for our kids to help them feel connected with the teacher and with their classmates.
Thank you, Wendy. I think that's enough for this one. It's okay, Dawn and everybody. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So let me stop sharing. There you go. And Wendy, Monique, why don't you continue then?
All right, so here we are, and if we were doing this in the long version, we would have had you go to the driving question board, and some of the things that Elliot in the longer version would have went through would have answered some of the questions that you had already had. But we're going to take a look at a 5th grade schedule, and this is something that we used within the time that we were down, right? This is a typical school day. And you can see within this school day, there's a welcome message. Good morning, 5th graders. It's Tuesday, September 22nd. My husband and I teach 3rd grade. He teaches 5th grade, but we were able to use the exact same platform and layout. And then all he did was plop in the 5th grade things, right? But some of the activities and a lot of the pieces were exactly the same. So you wouldn't want to just redo them. It's easy to have it all in one place and it's already done for you. Like announcements, right? Here you can see there were morning announcements. In our school, we do them every day. They do the pledge. I'm sure that, I don't think you guys do that in middle school anymore, but in the elementary, we still do the pledge and things, but you could easily create the announcements within the videos that are in a roadmap. So here you can see that's president. We do our positivity project. We do our pledge. There's the Haas Elementary pledge. This was the week that me and my husband were the people, the guest speakers on the announcements. There, I was singing the happy birthday for him. Then he does a joke of the day, and it's a pretty bad joke. So anyways, it gives that sense of community. And that's what I think Roadmaps does that other learning platforms do not. It allows for that sense of community and allows for students and teachers to feel connected still in a not so connected world, right? A daily check-in form. and this is something that's important for middle schoolers for sure, is that they're running on a lot of emotions, right? How are you feeling today? Maybe they can, it helps them come up with the vocabulary to explain how they're feeling. Maybe why are they having such a hard time, right? And you could give options for that also. But I think it's really important for us to stay in tune with how kids are feeling in this situation. Here we come to the meat and potatoes of it, right? Here you see reading, writing, math, social studies, the science, some exploratory and win time. If we go into the reading, we've built out the reading in MESA units. So we've used the MESA units in a writer's workshop format. And looking at the writer's workshop format, you can see that the learning targets are in there. You can put a live lesson, right? So a teacher could actually teach a lesson at 9:15 for everybody, or you could create a node in which it's a video. Here's the success criteria. Here is a response in the writer. When you click on launch and it goes to the Collaborify Writer, which is an app within Roadmaps, students have the option of clicking on the speaker and having the questions read to them. So that's not necessary for, or it's a built-in support for students. Also, they can type their answer in, or if it's okay with the teacher, and if that's an accommodation, they can also create a video, right? So they click on it, there I am, and they could create a video within here giving a response to a question. But much in the same way that a student can give a response by writing or by video, teachers can do the same thing. It's really a nice feature, and I'm sure that they would appreciate that rather than having to write, listen to, or see the red pen on the side, right? You just give them a quick little video of feedback about their questions or how they answered their questions. Also within this map, there is a collaborative activity in this map. You can put nodes that are individual, so only that student can get into that map or that node, or you can have nodes that are collaborafied, which means that lots of people can use that same node, and just like we did the driving question board, right? Explains to them about reading for the 15 minutes, and then the reading log. The reading log is in our Collaborify chart. And it just is a simple chart. Students put the book title, the time, pages read, and notes, if it's necessary that they keep track of it. But one thing here also that you can allow for is grouping. So you do a 9:15 session, and then at 9:45, this group, at 10 o'clock, this group. You could also put a Google Meet chat or a Google Chat in here if you'd like to field questions. But you can see that the teacher lessons are in here also, and you can upload them simply in a local file. So if you already have them in your file at home, you can easily put them up here. It's not something that's going to take a long time for you to format a different way. You can put them up there if it's in your local file. So I'm going to go back to the map, and you can see that writing is there also. You can create a journal that goes with the children from the beginning of the marking period till the end of the marking period. You could do it all year if you wanted to, but you can set that up so every time they add to it, it just keeps adding to it, just like a regular journal would in paper. So that's kind of a cool option. Or you can set it up so that they have a blank one every single time. That's up to you, the teacher. We have Eureka Math or Engage New York Math. And that's what we have available right now. And as you see it all pop open, it's running very slow today, and I'm not quite exactly sure why my computer's running so slow. But you can see these red activities here are the fluency pieces. Notice over here that in the legend, fluency. And then there's a turn and talk. This is really powerful because you could be on a Zoom with your students and it's time to do a turn and talk. Do you see this little telephone up here? Students can share their map with each other, or you can send them out so that they have partnerships to begin with. And we can add a collaborator. So let's say I want to add somebody. Let's see. Billy, we'll put Billy in there because Nicole's name didn't come up. And now she's added as a collaborator. So if she were in this same map, I would see a little eyeball with 2 people, just like we did before, and it shows that somebody else is there. I can click on this telephone and you can talk in voice over IP with the other person on the other computer that is a collaborator on your map. So you can work together as a team on things. So that's a really nice feature where teachers could allow kids to mute themselves on Zoom, turn and talk on the phone for a couple minutes, come back, and then discuss what they talked about. Here's concept development, which would be like the place where the teacher would teach, or maybe there's videos. We thought that it's probably the most powerful for students to do all of these options by themselves, even the problem set. And notice there's only certain time on there. They don't have to finish the whole sheet. They work on it for 10 minutes. And then you come back together as a debrief and talk about the misconceptions or any problems that they had and do that live. And notice there's an Apple Note there so that teachers can use it or not use it. The exit ticket with keys. And then this is probably the best thing, is that in Engage New York, they have homework explanations. So students that have trouble completing their homework, the homework explanations are within the curriculum. That's brilliant, because you know how many parents can't do, I know you know how many parents can't do middle school math. There are a lot. And then they say, well, I couldn't do my homework because nobody could help me. Well, guess what, friend? Now you have this homework explanation. Also, you can add various games and simulations and all the pieces that you want to add or that you like. You can do foundational videos, which kind of take it back a step to kind of help kids get caught up if they need to. You can add games. You could add books. Here's one from Get Epic, right? You can add books that go along with that same idea in math or social studies or science. And I'm going to go back to our map, our main map here. And then here is social studies. I'm sure that this will come, if there are any social studies teachers here, you'll go, wow, this is pretty cool, because these maps could be used with your 8th graders when they get ready to take those M-STEP tests, because these are all pieces that they could run through as review, right? This was taught in 5th grade, but they could use these for review, or you could use them for review in your room. Each node opens when you click on the node, you click launch, and you can add videos in here. So all videos in YouTube can be put within the writer. And when you put the YouTube videos in writer, it takes the ads off at the beginning. So down here at the plus button, just where we did the photo video, you can add YouTube. Or let's say you have existing photo or video that you've taken. You can actually put that, if it's in your Google Drive, you can see images and videos here, you can pull that in there. Also, at this point, to take a new video, we have about a 30-second to 1 minute limit, I believe, on taking a video to put on here. But you also have that option to take a quick video of yourself to put within the writer. Notice how you can do the question answer response, or kids can actually click on this bottom and add headers or a text box and type. We're going to go back to our main map. And here, all of these different pieces, the French and Indian War, the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, all these pieces all meet in this middle. This middle is a part for important dates. And one of the things that kids were to do is to create a timeline, right? So they go through the nodes, and this is like a 3-week map, right? It's not a 1-day kind of thing. But they go through the nodes collecting the dates, and when they're finished, they would create a timeline project. And this is something called the flipbook. And in our flipbook, this is an animation tool. You can animate. Students can draw, they can text, they can add pictures like you see here, but you can create actual timelines and put pictures in where the timelines go. You can add pages simply by adding them on the bottom here. And students can record their voice over top of it. Coming back, you can see all of the pieces over here that are teacher friendly, that we have the whole Michigan Open book over here, not just the pieces, but we've taken those pieces, because I don't know if you guys have tried to use the Michigan Open book. I love it, but the problem is that every time you go in, you got the survey thing, and then you have to do this and you have to do that. Well, this takes all of that away from that, right? You can download it and put it right here, and then you have it. Or you can cut it in a PDF tool where you could cut it in the sections that you want and put them in. Going back to our map, I think it's really important for you to see how 5 teachers came together to create one map, because I think that's where middle school could really thrive using this. I think that being able to put your math, social studies, science, and language arts all in one map, well, even the gym and STEM and anything, right? Anything that they need in one map. Here is the exploratory program. And Billy, you want to describe this, please?
Sure. Nicole and I had been using this for our students that we had daily in STEM class with 3rd through 5th grade. So when the stay-at-home started, we actually taught the art, music, and the gym teacher how to create a roadmap. And within, an hour or two, we were able to collaborate on this map together. So if you see the 3 dots up in the right-hand corner, all you have to do is click that and add collaborators and type in another teacher's email. They can actually join you just like a Google Doc, and you can work on a map together. And someone from the team can do that as well. We can work on a map with you if you wanted to make a template map, and then you just pop in and change your assignments. So each teacher then their assignments during the week, and then we were able to actually copy this map 7 times for the 7 weeks we were out. And then that way teachers could actually go in ahead of time, fill in their assignments for the following weeks. And it made it really easy that we could each work on one map at our own pace. And each of our maps had a video. So in Writer, you can, we thought that, that connection was really important. So there's me and my friend, it was still cold out. And we just used our phone to shoot a short video, download it to our docs. And with one click, then, when you hit add a video, you just click from your drive and it can put it right in your Writer node. Any video, instead of using, one from a Google search, you can insert your own. So we had that nice little connection with our kids every week. So this map actually went out to 600 kids every week, and then they could pop on and do their assignments. And this is one of the maps we included, which was a virtual field trip. So our kids were missing Greenfield Village, so we made a map about that. So this is kind of a big map. It would take them probably more than a day. But for our other daily assignments, we kept it short, like 2 or 3 nodes, because they were younger kids doing activities. And you could pull these off in our repository if you wanted to use our maps, you know, that we're free to steal from, you know, steal anything we have, and send it out to your kids and use it. We have a lot of subjects, areas 3rd through 5th, you know, those, you know, middle schoolers, I think, would like that too. So, you know, or you can build your own.
Actually, that's kind of funny because our middle school after school program uses our brain ventures that we created for 3-5, and they love them. The kids love them. They go through them together and they have a lot of fun. There's some different ones that are set up like escape rooms, and some that a roller coaster one. There's like lots of fun ones in there. But you can see how this can be set up easily with the music, art, STEM, and I mean, that's pretty simple for a kid to look at, right? And when you click on it, it actually takes you to a separate, the full roadmap that teacher set up. But this would be a simple place for kids to be able to just click on that node that they want to go into, or that subject that they want to go into, and it takes them immediately to their assignment. The last thing that, well, no, there's 2 more things I wanted to talk to you about. But this one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because I'm a little impartial to science, because I love it. And when using our science, the animation tool, the flipbook is super awesome. I am going to pull this up, and Nicole's going to describe a little bit about how the animation tool was used in their MLPBL units.
Thank you, Monique. So in MLPBL, it's multiple literacies, project-based learning, and we are always asking our students to model their experiments, model their thinking, model their questioning, and Flipbook is the perfect tool for this. It gives students so much freedom and creativity in their ability to share their understanding of a phenomena, of a scientific phenomena, with us as a teacher versus, you know, a multiple choice test. So here we have examples of our water wheels, which show the transfer of energy from running water into actual work. And you can see that they are all moving, they're all animated. The students have labels with arrows. There's a key that tells what each of their symbols mean. They can type in their thinking and understanding on the second page. And my students just lived for this. Such a great way to kind of view your students' learning and, you know, check in with them and see where they are. Monique, are you going to pull up a flipbook to kind of go through, or just wanted me to chat about those real quick?
I just wanted you to chat about those for real quick, but we do have a flipbook in this timeline. It's the exact same thing, and we can play around with the tools. You guys actually, in Roadmap 2, you learn how to make Mr. Bean ride his bike across the page. And they're very simple to use, but they can be done in a way that it's very sophisticated, really, for a child to be able to express and think about how something moves and explain it in that way. So I found that to be extremely helpful. I'm going to go back to our main map. And then the very last thing, and I'm sure that you have these pieces also that have to fit within a student schedule, is that win time or what I need time. And I know that many middle schools hold that time for students for middle school, kind of like a study hour, but not really, right? And this win time could be a time for social work, could be a time for EL support, could be a time for speech, OT. I mean, there's all these pieces. Did you want to talk about that a little bit, Wendy?
Oh, hey, hi. Yeah, I just think that this is so powerful. We were talking about like speech therapy, and we were also talking about how our intervention was going to work. And there were big concerns. How are we going to get our groups of children to link together and all know where to go and what times? And this was just like the answer. So that the kids will know where to go. They know the times. If we click on the groups, the teacher has the times that she's wanting them to meet. Very simple what it is that is going to be required of them. We've got Flipbook again, which shows again the versatility of this. And it's being used as a speaking and listening program. I mean, the versatility is endless. You've got read aloud, reading and writing, and saying if you were a reading specialist, you could have that small group participation, or if you're working with special ed kids, you know, just bring them in, have them for a few minutes, help support them, guide them, because you will have the access. You can be collaborators working together, helping to support the foundations for the children.
Notice this PDF pal here. This is any PDF that you have, you can load to our PDF pal. Notice how I pulled up that color palette, and that color palette allows me to change things. So I could color my cat's tail green. And if I want to change to text and type my name, I can also change the color. I know sometimes when teachers have students work in collaborative groups, they'll have specific kids use specific colors so they know how much they've helped each other. But you can see also there is a highlighting tool. So kids can actually annotate text. Now, I know that this is a little bit kiddish, but I'm sure that you have PDFs that are not so kiddish, in which they could use the highlighting tool or a circling tool or some way to draw on it and text. And it's a beautiful way for the kids to be able to experience using that PDF instead of having to have printed sheets of everything. It can be right there.
And can I just say also that with the reading, the new research is that the children are reading too fast. We need to slow them down. We need to get that comprehension. So having those highlighted areas, working with the children on those areas can be amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So coming back to our main map again, I know that that was a ton of information and we just bombarded you with it, but how can you see it being used within your classroom or within your community of learners? Just unmute yourself and go ahead and tell us.
Did you show the plus with the menu?
I don't know if I did.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I better do that first.
You got to see this, folks. Yep, one more thing.
Sorry.
No problem.
Here we go. All right, so here at the bottom are all the different apps we have available. Here's a driving question. Here's when you put a roadmap within a roadmap. You use Collaborify Roadmap because you would click on that and choose the roadmap that you're going to put in there. Here's your flip book, which is the animation tool. You can use it as a book or a journal. Timeline, Collaborify map, concept mapping, collaborative driving question board. You can use it for vocabulary matching. There's tons of activities that you could use that for also. Collaborify Writer is the tool in which you can put YouTube videos in, questions of your own. KWL, a regular chart, which we used for the reading chart to and the timeline, recording the times. We have a Venn diagram, the PDF Pal, which is that PDF markup tool, and any PDF, even if you have slides. Sometimes I will even download my slides as a PDF because then kids aren't messing around with anything in there, and they can write on top of them that way too. So you can use like a document you can download as a PDF or the slides and put them in that PDF Pal, and it makes for a nice little book that they can write in. Web resource, any web resource, right? Whether it be a meeting or any kind of a, maybe a simulation, like a PhET simulation. If you're a science teacher, you might want to look at the Sage Modeler. It's a pretty, I think it's a little bit of an advanced tool. We don't use it really in elementary, but it's there for middle and high school. Teacher narrative, if you just want a node where you can keep some notes for yourself in there. A blank note, which would just be kind of like a title. A learning activity is kind of like a turn and talk, or I want you to go do this kind of thing. Importing your own file, and then we have these Google apps also within roadmaps.
So that's how you can create your own roadmaps. Click on that, pick it out, boom, 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 string them together, boom.
It's done. It really, once you start working on it, it's almost like addictive. I mean, really, I just love doing it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I really do. It's a good way to lay things out. I use them on my overhead when I'm at school, rather than putting them, or when we were in school, I would have them up there just because it's a good reminder of where I'm going and where I started. So I use them in the classroom as much as out of the classroom.
So folks, what do you think? I mean, how do you see it? Your materials, the all in one place, the seamless, I mean, the notion of seamless, and maybe just too much right now, but go ahead. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. I just actually had a quick question. On the driving question board that we saw at the beginning, when the one that we were also all typing on, is there any way to monitor what kids are saying what, or what kids are asking what with that?
They can add their initials, but we wanted to keep it anonymous because of the fact that kids in middle school, kids in general, are sometimes not very familiar with asking questions, and this way they'll take that risk if nobody knows who really put the question on there. And I think it all comes down to that whole internet safety kind of etiquette thing that maybe, I know we need to be very careful about that. And that's something that we really need to teach hard at the beginning of this school year for sure. But I think that that's important to leave that so that kids have that option of doing it by them or without being known who they are. Plus, then people are answering questions too, not knowing who the kid is, right? Sometimes, you know, the popular kid might, everybody will look at their question first maybe, but here in that setting, they don't know who wrote what. So then everybody's question gets a look.
And I think those are all like really good, valid points. Principal hat here, when the kid writes something highly inappropriate, because let's keep it real, it'll happen. Is there, like we were wondering if on the
Had an
teacher,
issue.
there was a way that we could see who it was, perhaps, so that we know we need to address that, or who we address it, as opposed to like scolding the whole class.
Yes, there is a way. You got to think. We have all the learning analytics. We know how much time they're spending on all the nodes, and we have all that information, Samantha. So, but the question is, making it readily accessible to you. We haven't done that in the past, but now you're saying it. Let me think about it. You know, we can do it.
Thank you.
Well, thank
And
you.
I use the driving question board a little bit differently in my classroom, where we were typing the questions into the title. I teach my students to put their names in the title. And then they ask questions about the lesson, you know, as we go through. And then I kind of sort the questions into topics or areas and have them talk about them in small groups. And most of your students are going to put their name on and write what they're supposed to write. And so when I did have a student, you know, try to sneak something in there that was not so appropriate, it was kind of like a process of elimination, because he wasn't smart enough to check with the rest of the class first. And so the other 24 kids had all put their names on the node, and the one that had the inappropriate was the one kid that wasn't following directions. So he kind of made himself stand out.
Could you use a driving question board that's not collaborative, where kids could just post their questions?
Absolutely. You can have but then the only kid, he's the only one asking questions on that board, and he's the only one capable of answering them. You do have the options to only make some activities collaborative and some activities solo. So for example, if you want to do worksheets on their own, but do some activities together, you can do that.
I was going to add too that on Monday in the session there, we saw that you were able to take the nodes and the teacher can change the color, right? Anybody can change the color, so you can start categorizing the responses that you get. You can drag the nodes over and put them into groups pretty quickly. So I thought that was powerful too.
Monique, do you think it would be beneficial if I share some middle school maps that I pulled out?
You can. They only have 3 minutes, but yep. Go right ahead.
Can I ask a really quick question though?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So we're seeing a student view, correct? If we're interested in this, how do we get access to the teacher so that we can
go to map 2 in the map that you were given? Once you go to map 2, that's going to teach you all about the teacher platform. It's going to tell you how to get there, how to run the monitor and assess, how to set up a class, how to do all of those, or map 3, I'm sorry. Elliot switched that on us and he didn't tell me. But actually it's map 3. Map 2 is about Mr. Bean and Ace Ventura. And then map 3 is more of we set it up as an escape room kind of thing that you could play around with a Google form, and that when you put the right code in, you get to go to the next question kind of thing. And so we set that up that way, but that's the one that's going to actually go through the whole teacher platform and explain all the pieces to that platform and how you can see everything and work through everything as a teacher.
Thank you.
And everyone has access to that right now just by going to, tell me again the website, Elliot.
Roadmap.center.
Okay, just roadmap.center.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't want to go through right.
And then I also wonder for that repository, if we want to share with them the ways to get to the maps you have created. I know you're getting ready to show us some middle school examples, but to see, because anybody can put their maps in the repository, right?
Right.
That's exactly where I pulled the middle school maps from. I know the teacher that created them, so I knew what I was looking for, but you can search by grade or by subject area. and pull out maps.
So right here is the search repository. So this is the roadmap.center. And this is if you want a brand new map, nothing on it. Here is search repository, and you can go within the repository and search. So you can maybe pick a grade level. I don't know, maybe there is a 10th grade something. Oh, professional development series. Oh, these are more schedules and things that we did as teachers, but that's how you can go grades and you can go subjects. And then from subjects right here, argue from evidence, do plastic bans work? I can click on save to my roadmap collection. And as it's saving to my roadmap collection, it's going to put it in my file, and then that file will always be there. Whenever I click on modify my roadmap, it's going to be there.
It's a big one.
It must be.
Yeah.
Yep. Leah, I'll go ahead and stop the share if you want to show them a couple of those units, I guess.
But just two or 3 minutes, and because we.
So I think maybe instead of the map, let me just. The pressure.
No pressure. No pressure.
There we go.
No
Just if you kind of want to see, we do have pictures from a middle school. If you want to see what that looks like with older kids, they did it more asynchronously.
There's nothing. There's nothing displayed, Leon.
Oh.
Did you share the whole screen?
But it's nothing. Yeah.
Your screen sharing is paused. Huh.
We might have select the whole screen, I think.
How about now?
Yeah, there you go, kid.
So these are some computer science maps, and it's more asynchronously, and you can see how with the older kids you can have. What?
Slow down. It's moving too fast.
Oh, sorry. I'm making people seasick. And how you can, with the older kids, you can even give them multiple paths and choices, and they choose their way of learning as long as they do the same exit ticket at the end.
And that was from the website on the pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. And if you're interested, we can do it again. We could see some more. But I think going through the roadmap, the PD roadmap, spend a couple hours, I think you'll get it. And then we can come back around and have another conversation. And I'll send out the URL to this particular hour.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much for giving us an overview